Hello everyone, I hope you're doing great. Today we'll be talking about a grammar lesson, um, conditional type 3 and wish or if only. Nice. This lesson is mostly dedicated to baccalaureate students, both first year baccalaureate students and second year level students. For first year baccalaureate students, they have this lesson under unit 7, and for second year baccalaureate students, they have it under unit number 6. Alright, so without any further ado, let's look at this paragraph and see what it is about. Alright, here we go. I was so excited to sit for a job interview. However, on the day of the interview, I overslept. I must have forgotten to set my alarm the night before. I jumped out of bed, quickly put some clothes, and rushed out the door. But I was never going to make it in time. If I'd set my alarm, I would have been on time. So, my first question to you is, could you tell me what this man or woman is trying to tell us from this short text? So this guy, he says he was excited to sit for a job interview. You know, I would be excited to sit for a job interview, but something happened. However, on the day of the interview, what happened? He overslept. Why? Because he forgot to set the alarm the night before. Nice. And at the end, what does he say? He says if he had set his alarm, he would have been on time. So this is something not nice. This is like sad that he did not make it on time, so he could not be there for his job interview. Nice. I'd like you to pay attention to this sentence here, the last sentence in this paragraph. It says, if I had set my alarm, I would have been on time. And ladies and gentlemen, this is where we have an example of conditional type 3. Let's look at this in more detail. So I have the example here, the same one from this text. If I had set my alarm, I would have been on time. This is an example of conditional type 3. I'd like you to look at it and tell me how it's used or formed. Alright, nice. So the form of the conditional is, we use of course the word if, condition, and the result clause. So the if clause and the result clause. So what happened? If he had set the alarm, so he did not set it, he would have been on time. Did he set the alarm? No, he didn't. So he wished that he had set the alarm. Alright, so just let's start with the form to make it simpler. So there is the word if, condition, plus subject, if I, if he, if we, and so on. Had set, had plus past participle. And then again, part 2, there is again the same subject here, usually repeats. If I, if he, and then he, and so on. Would have plus past participle. You always have this one. You always have would have, could have, might have. It always repeats. And then plus past participle of the verb that you're I don't know, would have been, would have said, would have, might have gone, and so on. Right, so here you go. That's the form. I have another example here. It says I did not play sports. So what happened? I was not in shape. So good. This person did not play sports. So what happened? He was not in shape. He did not feel good physically. So if we want to say the same idea using the conditional, it would be if I had played sports, I would have been in shape. So did I play sports? No, I did not. I did not play sports. That's why I feel I have this problem or this result here. I was not in shape. If I had played, again, we're talking about past. Here we're talking about the past. condition that is not possible. It's just imaginary. We could not change this result here. We would not change it. We can't. We cannot go to the past and change it. If I had played sports, I would have been in shape. Nice. Or you could reverse the form or reorder. We could put this otherwise. It would start with the result clause. I would have been in shape if I had played sports. It's the same thing. Nothing changes. Only small little comma here. So you start with if, you have to put a comma in the middle. Here there is no comma. But it's the same thing. The form still stays the same. After if, you have this had plus participle. Always right after if, you have had plus participle. And then second clause, you have would, could, might plus have plus participle. Would or could or might, and so on. Nice. So that's the form. How about the usage? How do we use the conditional? It's used to express conditions in the past that did not or didn't happen. So something that we kind of like regret or criticize. Says, oh, if I had been on time, I could have caught the 5 o'clock train, or something like that. So you express some kind of criticism or regret, talking about something that happened or did not happen in the past, something that you don't have control over anymore because it's the past. So you just imagine. That's the use of condition type 3. Nice. Moving on to the second point in this lesson, which is wishes using the words or the expressions if only and wish. So in general, in reality, when we talk or write, we express wishes relating to the present, past, or future. So let's start with the present. How do we express wishes in the present? So in the present, when you want something in the present time, example, I don't play sports, so I'm fat, and I'd like to use one of these forms, wish or if only. Nice. I would say, if only I played sports, or I wish I played sports. Nice. So when you express a wish in the present, we need to use the simple past. Again, we're expressing a wish in the present, we use the simple past with these little words, if only or wish. It's the same idea. You're just using different expression, but it's the same thing. So if only I played sports. That's for the present wish. For the past wish, you wish that you had something in the past. You wish that you had, or I don't know. It also expresses or refers to something that you regret, kind of. I have an example here. It says, I did not do my best, so I failed the exam. Why did I fail the exam? Because I did not do my best. I did not prepare well. So I'd like to use the words if only or wish, as you can see here in this example. What do you regret here? What's the problem? You say I wish, or if only I had done my best. Again, I'd like you to pay attention here. So here we're talking about a past wish. What's the form? What do you notice here? How do we express a past wish using the words if only and wish? So we have if only plus what? There is subject, the same again here. I wish I, if only I, plus what? Plus had, plus participle. That's how we use, that's the form of, that's how we use wishes, or that's how we express wishes in the past. Nice. If only plus had plus participle. Say I wish I had been on time, I wish I had woken up earlier, and so on. Nice. For a future wish, it's also simple, just like the previous ones. It's not, this lesson is very simple, it's not that complicated. You just probably need to take some notes and do some practice online. You can go ahead and go online and try to find some practice exercise later on. I have an exercise later in this lesson, so just bear with me. I know you enjoy learning grammar. So here we go. To talk about a wish for the future, or to show a contrast between how things are and how we would like them to be. We use if only or wish, I wish, plus what? Plus would. So here we're talking about wishing something that you'd like to happen in the future, or some changes that you'd like to see happening in the future. Nice. If I have an example here, if only someone would buy the house. If only someone, what? Would, and after would you have buy, would buy, would talk. Again, what do you notice here? No change, because we have the words would and could and might. So you have, these words are followed by the base form, not the infinitive. So it's not to is not the word to. You don't have the word to. What do we call the word? What we call the base form? Would buy, would go, would take, would meet, and so on. So that's how we make or express a wish for the future. All right, great. So before we finish, let's look at some practice for this lesson. Again, before we do, I'd like to summarize it. So today we talked about the condition, type 3, and wish and if only. You've seen the form. So the main, probably something similar in both of them is the idea of showing or expressing something, some criticism of some actions that did happen or did not happen, criticism or kind of a regret. So that's the main point of this lesson. So let's look at this exercise for some practice. So the first one says match the numbers with the letters. So it's the same. I have halves. So these are halves with the same sentences. I have numbers here, 1, 2, 3, and on the other side I have A, B, C. So go ahead. Let's see how we could match these to make it into into sentences. Nice. So these are the first halves, and these are the second halves. If I were a millionaire, she wouldn't have had an accident. I'll watch the film. If I finish early, I would buy a beautiful car if she had driven carefully. So let's look at the first one. If I were a millionaire, which one do you think we could go with this sentence here? If I were a millionaire, and this looks like a second conditional. If I were a millionaire, I guess we need to use this one, B. If I were a millionaire, I would buy a beautiful car. A millionaire, you can buy something bigger, I guess, more than a car. Anyways, if I were a millionaire, I would buy a beautiful car. As you can see here is if plus simple past, and then you have would or could or might plus base form. So this, as you have seen in your lesson, expresses an imaginary, hypothetical, something not real situation. Nice. 2, she wouldn't have had an accident. This looks like the same lesson we have seen today. So if she had driven carefully. Nice. That's so number 2, C. Number 3, I'll watch the film if I finish early. That's condition 1. Again, a possible result. This is very possible, not like number 2 and 3. Number 1, condition 1. If I'll watch, simple future. If I finish early. So I have some control over this action. It's very possible. Nice. Second exercise says rewrite the following sentences as suggested using the condition that we have just seen. It says here, number 1, he crashed his car because he fell asleep while driving. He crashed his car, an accident, because he fell asleep while driving. Okay, so what's the problem here? What's the result? The crash. Why? Because he fell asleep while driving. So if what? If he hadn't fallen asleep, let's go ahead and if he hadn't fallen asleep, what? If he fallen asleep, if he hadn't fallen asleep, he wouldn't have had the accident. he wouldn't have had the accident. Nice. If he hadn't fallen asleep, he would not have had the accident. Nice. How about using the words if only and I wish? If only and I wish, expressing again the same thing, the same idea here that we have expressed with the condition type 3. I would say if only he hadn't fallen asleep. Nice. So this is I guess it's not too complicated, but let's go ahead and do one more example. Number 2, it says we could not go to the concert because we did not have enough money. We could not go to the concert because we did not have enough money. ما قدرناش نمشيو للحفلة علاش؟ ما كانش عندنا الفلوس كافيين. Nice. Good. And then we need to use the condition in the middle. Let's start with alright, so here nice. What do you think? How could we fix this sentence using the condition? We could not go to the concert because we did not have enough money. So we could have gone where? To the concert, حفل, to the concert. If what? What's the condition? What's the imaginary condition in the past here? Again, there's no comma, as opposed to here there is a comma if you start with if. Nice. We could have gone, we could have plus past participle. We could have gone to the result. We could have gone to the concert if what? What's the condition? If we had enough money. Alright, nice. I guess again we could use the same, express the same idea using one of these words, wish or if only. If only, I wish what? I wish we had enough money. Enough money. Nice. So that's all for today. This is the lesson again, explaining how to use condition type 3 and wish and if only. If you have any questions, please email me or leave your comments under the unit on my Google Classroom. Thank you for your time. I hope to see you very soon again. Take care for today. Bye bye.